we're gonna figure out what kind of train wreck this is gonna be.
I'm playing baseball.
Oh, it's like fucking 30 degrees out.
Are we doing this?
Yeah.
We're doing what? What are we fucking doing?
We're talking about baseball right now.
Are we?
Yeah, I got.
We
my
actually
first
had a
game
better
tomorrow.
conversation. We should have shot the podcast before the podcast because that was
That was a great. We were going down an ICP hole. It was fantastic.
Jazz, tell us why we're fucking here.
Because we're about to get fucking warhammered.
We are about to get Warhammered.
Well,
It's
all right.
fantastic.
So this is Warhammered, brought to you by Second Pitch Beer Company from the BattlePub Studios.
Deep beneath the bunker in San Antonio somewhere. Yeah.
Deep beneath the bunker, by that he means slightly next door to my game store.
In a mall.
In a mall. Deep.
It's the basement of the Alamo.
Have you, speaking of like this mall, have you gone to like the Macy's or whatever, the closed down Macy's that's like right next door to you guys?
And like broken in?
That's like broken into.
No,
it
I
in
let the
middle of
crackheads
night?
do that.
Oh, I want to do that so bad.
Yeah, no. Apparently, though, when they moved out, they like absolutely fucking gutted the place.
Really?
And like,
I'm sure.
thrashed it. And I don't mean like the people that went in afterwards. Like the mall management here told me that they just abused that. But the thing is, they own it.
Yeah.
That's theirs.
Like the mall doesn't own that building. Macy's
Really?
owns that building. So
oh,
that's why it's not full. Like
And
because
that's
the
why
mall
it's
would have
not
leased it to
fixed or
something.
anything.
Yeah.
And because the mall doesn't own it. So I found this out about malls. The anchors, this is every mall.
okay.
The anchors are not owned by the mall. The anchors are owned by whatever department store is in it. So like Dillard's owns the Dillard's. JCPenney owns the JCPenney. Like they own that building, and there's just a communal ingress egress point with the mall. And like, but that's it. They don't own the building.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I didn't know that. I thought it was just like, I thought they also rented that from the mall.
Are you going to start owning your place here? Are you going to get as big as Dillard's?
I can't because they won't let me because I'm in line, so I can't buy the property.
Bullshit.
I would have to like buy that Macy's.
You want to buy the Macy's?
You want to buy the Macy's? We
Let's
can put
do
the
this.
brewery in there too.
We're doing a brewery, Macy's, Warhammer.
So that's
thing.
great. It's great. When the rest of these places go tits up,
It's just gonna be us on the end.
We could fucking skateboard.
Do you know how
around.
epic that would be, though?
That would be amazing. I want to keep the exact same everything looking.
Can we get like
exact
some
same
fucking
inside.
animatronic shit at Christmas time, like the old time, like
Yeah,
70s animatronic
100%.
shit?
We'll get a Santa.
Creepy as fuck.
We'll get a Santa so you can still come to Macy's
Yes.
to take a picture.
Mikey
with
will be
Santa.
Santa.
There you go.
It's
We could
fucking
do an
creepy as
ICP
shit.
Santa.
This is a brilliant.
We could.
This is a
Yeah.
brilliant idea.
That'd be the
Yeah.
Krampus Santa.
Just
all I
game
need-
store, battle space, and brewery all in just one.
And then you just
fucking
like
What we
ride
need-
bikes around
what
the
we
rest
need
of
is
the
a back of a
derelict
napkin
fucking
to write
mall.
all this stuff down, and then
That's
how
what
great,
certifies it.
That's
Yeah,
how great
100%.
companies start, right?
100%.
It's every
Fuck,
great
He's got some
company
scrap
is-
paper over there.
So
Fucking
fucking
It's
make
like
this
it was the
happen.
back of a napkin at a bar.
Oh, fucking what Rackspace has the other mall. Their entire fucking
Not anymore.
company's in a.
Rackspace is going under.
Are they go? Are they really?
Yeah.
Fuck that.
People don't need hard server space anymore, man.
Yeah.
Mm.
Everything's fucking cloud based now, and Google owns most of it. So
Fucking Google, man.
fuck it. Anyways,
Another San
we're a
Antonio based
podcast.
company.
That's big, Jim. You're fucking back, dude.
I'm back.
We're
It was
glad
one
to have
day.
you back.
Thank God.
Yeah,
Thank
well,
God.
you guys
yeah,
have to get-
last episode got weird.
I
was
got
good. It was a good
We had a
episode.
WWE in town, and I had to do like
Yeah.
escort.
He had to
It
go
was-
wrestle.
It was go
Yeah.
He's
fucking
actually
boring.
defending his title.
It was very boring.
Yeah,
Yes.
he had to go undercover in his.
There
his
was though.
alter
No,
ego.
so the
Super
WWE
Blue
Secret
dragged
squirrel mission.
the blue light.
they dragged around an old major general who won the medal or earned the Medal of Honor in Vietnam. And it was kind of cool because all the soldiers and airmen wanted more pictures with that guy than they did about the WWE.
Because who cares?
Yeah.
That guy's a legitimate badass.
Yeah, he was a fucking legit. He was a helicopter pilot. So fucking
Fantastic.
General Brady. So it was fucking cool. But other than that, it was just a lot of walking around.
You can only see so many grown men in spandex before you're like, all right,
Yeah.
that's enough of this.
And then one of the girls, one of the chicks was like doing all kinds of fucking shit. And
Yeah, that sounds about right.
she was eating candy. And then she made a couple comments, and I made a couple comments, and I'm like, then after that, I was on. I'm like, you fuck. And she's like, I can do that. I have abs. And I'm like, okay, I know what you're on. And then that went back and forth with that.
Trend's a bitch, ain't it?
Yeah.
I'm completely lost in this conversation. But I
Sorry.
assume we're going to talk to me about it later.
Look, whatever. That has nothing to do with this show.
Yeah, right.
That's Big Jim. That's Beer Jim.
Hey.
And I'm Jazz. And what?
Also a
what
James, you son of a bitch.
3 Jameses on this show.
You try to be something.
But what do we do here at Warhammered? Since you have now coined the phrase about what we do.
We talk about Warhammer and stuff on a module and or wave top level.
Wave top level.
wave top
Last
level.
episode we did a couple. We had like the big gym like stuff. We have to be like, what does he say? It's a bitch. He's a bitch.
He looks like a bitch.
He looks like a bitch. Wave top. Russ was right.
We
just
get it.
threw
Yeah,
it
we
all
got you.
out.
We even got the
I
Russ was
appreciate
right
it.
sign
Well,
up.
you know, as we
buddy.
go, we get more things.
Yeah.
Kitschy.
Yeah, we did.
We'll
it
even
all.
start selling this stuff at some point.
Yeah, at some point.
You're a bitch.
You're a bitch.
Yeah.
He looks like a bitch.
Yeah, it's great.
Oh, we have beer though.
We do have beer. So
Look at the size of that fucking thing.
another one of the things that we now have here is we have Jim's Beer Corner, which is arguably the only part of the show that's right.
Yeah, that's actually correct. So we're going to talk about beer today, and we're actually putting out one of, we just released one of Jass's favorite beers.
I fucking love this beer.
So I brought it for everyone to try.
And it has
So
been
please,
almost
buddy, you there,
it has been almost a year since this
Yeah.
shit was available.
So this is our Admiral Stradling English bitter. So it's Admiral Stradling Pub Ale. It's a best bitter, an English best bitter, which is just a fantastic beer. So this is like an extremely old school beer, and this is something you can buy in England, everywhere. Cheers.
Skull.
Skull. Really, really great. Like this is the beer that conquered the known world. Like this is what fueled England to do everything that they did. Yeah, it's good.
It's like coming home.
It's like a dark piece of bread.
It is. It's
Yeah.
extremely bready, super bready. Not a lot of hop character to it. It is 4.2%. It is a session beer. You can drink this thing all night and have a great time. with
Now
your
I
friends.
understand why they pound the shit out of this
Yeah,
beer.
it's only 4%. Like
Yeah.
it's only 4%.
Well, it's 4%,
light.
and like you said, without the bitterness, which is hilarious because it's actually called a best bitter. Like
yeah.
it is.
And we can get into that. You know,
But
that whole thing.
Since it's a pub ale, this is literally that thing when you hear all those British dudes that are like, "Well, it's after work. We'll pop in onto the pub. We'll have a couple pints and whatever, and go." This is what they're drinking,
Yeah, this is it.
and so you get it like this, where it's not super bubbly.
Yeah.
It's not super alcoholic,
And it's a little bit warmer. Like this is actually proper serving temperature right here.
It's not bad.
And
I mean, I could probably do this.
Yeah. And
But
like
and because of all of that, though, you can get why they go down. They're like, "Oh, I had 3 or 4 last night at the pub and whatever," and it's like, yeah, but when you're talking, Bud heavy alcohol levels, but with real flavor. You can. Like, you
Yeah,
can
that
have
sounds
several of these
amazing,
and you're
yeah.
not fucking hammered.
you know, like that's like the story of like, the guy walking his dog down to the pub, has a pint, and then walks the dog back. Like that's what they do. And it's a fantastic beer, and it's actually one of the fun things about this beer. So it's called Admiral Stradling. I actually know one of my friends is Duncan Stradling. He is in the British Navy, and I named this beer after him. He is not an admiral, but he is a helicopter pilot. But he is, So Duncan, this pint's for you, bro.
And
You've got a beer named after you.
Yeah.
It's kind of fucking cool.
beautiful, beautiful caramel color.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we won a gold medal on this one, so this is a gold medal winner as well. One of our.
So
it's
when
my
you guys
favorite.
win something like that,
Yeah.
what does that do for you?
It makes me just kind of stand up a little straighter and be able to look all the other brewers around in the eye and be like, I'm better than you, and I have hardware to prove it. No, it doesn't mean anything really. It's just it's my.
Well, I mean, like
it's,
anything, right? It's good publicity.
it's good publicity, and it's just I'm an incredibly competitive person.
I had noticed.
Yeah, you're not.
No, didn't pick up on it.
Yeah, I'm
Like at all.
incredibly.
No, you
competitive.
seemed very passive. Very,
I've worked a lot to like keep it down. Like there's been a
very
time
passive,
where-
very nothing to prove. Very just
No, I'm extremely
comfortable with who you are.
I'm
You're
extremely
like-
competitive in things I care about.
I know, buddy.
Oh, okay. I thought you were lying to me. I thought you were just being like, no, you're fine. No, I'm extremely competitive. So when like big thing is like, I was like, no, we're gonna compete in things. We're gonna win, and we're gonna be better than other people.
Yeah, and it's okay. So, the purpose of the beer corner is to educate people on. So I walk into a bar,
Great.
whether they have Admiral Stradlings or not, and I see something that says like English best bitter.
Mhm.
What am I looking at? What
So-
am I expecting from this beer?
You're going to be expecting a lot of bread notes to it. You're going to be a little bit of caramel in there. You're going to get a lot of biscuit, English biscuit, not our mama's
Right, like a
biscuit.
hard crumble biscuit,
like a hard crumble biscuit, not
yeah.
like a buttermilk biscuit kind of thing.
Right.
You
Low
know,
alcohol content?
what?
Low alcohol?
Low alcohol content.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're seeing anything that's above 5%, that's not going to happen. Also, one of those things, ESBs, extra special bitter, is not a real thing. It's an American made up thing. They don't have those in England. So yeah, so there's something called like the bitter tree, like the English bitter tree, which is like there's an ordinary bitter, there's a best bitter, and then there's like a superior bitter. And we did a best bitter, and it's just basically by the alcohol content. Original bitter is like 3%.
Oh wow.
So you can like that's literally like they're like we're just gonna sit down, have a pint, drink this. We have 5 of them while watching the soccer game and walk home and
The
drive
footy.
home. Fucking no problem.
And
Retards.
now, where does the bitter name come in? Because
So-
it's not actually.
It's not bitter.
It's not
that
bitter.
But
bitter.
when this style of beer was made, it was the bitterest beer around.
Huh.
Like this style's so old. It's like 1800. It's that people were like, this was like their version of like an IPA. Like, hold your horses, guys. We're adding, an actual amount of hops that you can taste in this.
So this is such a hipster beer
Yes.
that it was around before any hipsters could actually say that they had it before anybody else did.
Right. Yes.
Damn.
Yeah. We hipstered that. We out hipstered the hipsters. We went around. We end around flanked them. It's great. Love it.
That's good beer.
Mhm.
Smooth.
It's one
And
of
that's
our
coming
best
from a guy
ones.
that doesn't drink
I don't
beer.
drink
beer.
And
Yeah.
he's saying that's
Yeah.
a good beer.
It's just a really good. It's like, and I always describe English bitters are the great grandfathers of amber ales.
okay.
Okay.
That's the great.
Yeah.
That's the way I talk about it. Is like they're just the great grandfathers that have a little bit more class than you do, and can actually wear a suit.
Yeah,
well.
right. And it's just like, why are you able to wear gingham? I don't understand.
yeah.
Like,
Because I'm better than you.
what's giving you that?
Yeah.
It's like, it's the vest.
Yeah,
The vest
exactly.
is- yeah.
They're gonna be able to do it. So
Yeah.
it's one of my favorite beers that we make.
Because this beer does
Um,
taste like it would wear tweed.
Oh yeah, it would wear tweed
Perhaps
and it would look
smoke a pipe.
and smoke a pipe
The
and
smoke a
not
pipe.
even look weird
Yeah.
about doing it.
And have the shoulder patches on
the
their
leather
cardigan.
patches, and exactly, and can just tell you something about
Drives
his
a Volvo.
travels.
Definitely drives a
Drives a Volvo.
Volvo.
Drives
Yeah.
a Volvo, or a tiny English car, one of those like Alfa Romeos or some shit.
That's
like that.
Italian.
Yeah, that's Italian. Or
You're looking
Triumph.
for MG. That's
yeah,
what you were
MG.
looking
Possibly
for.
an MG.
MG. My grandmother had an MG.
The MGB, which was like that's like the British midlife crisis car.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole like you want a 2-door sports coupe.
Or a Jag. Yeah,
And you got
just
the-
drives a Jag.
A Jaguar.
A Jaguar. The Jaguar.
Drive a
dealer.
Jag.
I drove a Jag. Yeah. So,
So,
anyway, yeah.
No, it's very, very good. And to be honest with you, I think it's so good because it is simple. Like it's not.
Yeah. And
It's
what-
just so easy.
And what the best thing when you make a beer like this that is low alcohol, that is simple, really what you have to do is you have to look for the best ingredients you can. So we used 100% Maris Otter, which is a specific barley from England. And then we used 100% English malts on top of that. So we really try to make it really traditional, the way it would be made in England with those flavors. So that's always fun. And
Hot
the
damn.
hops are from England. Water profile is from the Burton-on-Trent water profile, which runs through the middle of London. Like we made it as authentic as possible.
That was the Thames.
Is it? Might be the Thames. Whatever.
The River Thames
Burton-on-Trent-
was the river that ran through England.
The Thames would be the Thames. It would be the Thames.
I think there's other rivers too.
Well, there's other.
There's a
rivers.
bunch of other, but the one that goes through London is the Thames.
Maybe you're right. Okay, fine. But whatever, it's called Burtonized water. It's Burton-on-Trent,
See,
which
we,
is like
we lied to
could
you
be a
about
spot.
those fucking.
yeah.
big
Anyway,
section
it's a
thereof. I
very
don't know.
very famous like water profile. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Fuck you.
You don't want a Tim's water profile because that is just trash.
disgusting.
It's like
Yeah.
the Ganges. The Ganges is that's just
The
Sewer
Thames
water.
is slowly
Isn't it?
fucking cleaning it. Well.
Yeah.
Anyway,
why?
it's good beer.
Do you know why they wash in the Ganges? Why it got
Isn't
so
it like a
popular there?
religious thing?
No. Why they picked that point?
Was it?
And they were
was
getting
it-
cleaner there?
Oh, it wasn't because it was like human sacrifices were up the river.
So up the river is where they were putting all the dead and burning them.
Yeah.
And so all the fat and everything was getting in the water. And so that surfactant was coming down. It was operating as natural soap. So you were just washing yourself with human remains.
Great. That's
Makes sense.
nice.
Yeah.
The whole country's a write-off. Anyway.
Jesus.
Anyways, speaking of traditions.
Yes.
What, before we start with the traditions,
Oh, God.
I must know
Yes.
who won 2 weeks ago, 2 Saturdays ago.
Oh,
after I
was
left.
it chaos or at
Oh,
the-
no. Order or disorder?
Yeah, order or disorder. Is that what you're
Disorder
talking about?
took the day. Disorder won Port Ma.
I was wondering if we won.
No, because all of you left.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
his whole side just dipped out. So it was 1 versus 3 at that point. And he got obliterated.
Yeah.
that sucks.
Yeah, we didn't do very good.
Wow.
Yeah.
After you left, I left. Just
Oh.
Yeah, he
I
was
left,
all on
I
his
left
own.
my
And he was hammered. So it was,
yeah.
it
Yeah,
was,
he got happy.
it was not good. And then there was a whole lot of chaos knights that just came over the top and was like, yeah, goodbye.
Oh, well.
Well.
It's too bad.
But so disorder or chaos, whatever you want to call it, because
Yeah.
we had multiple systems running. But disorder won the day that day. It was definitely.
Good.
We need to do one
Chaos
with the
reigns.
new like boarding action. We need to play on the big.
I
table.
want to do new boarding actions.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I wanna play
that's.
that.
I think that's gonna be really good.
Yeah.
We actually have some requests about you, Big Jim.
Oh, God.
Comments that were made.
Oh, no.
They actually want to see an episode where we teach you how to play.
I'm
so
going to
that
start fucking throwing things because
so
it's
that-
fucking
so
stupid.
that
I want the new
they
rules.
they can learn how to play.
All right, that
That's
makes
it.
sense.
Yeah.
They
wanna block
Honestly,
them
once
instruction.
you get going, it's just annoying when you're like, oh, but my fucking psychic knight makes sure that you can't do, and you're like, wait a minute, I just get it down, but you get this special fucking dude. No,
Yeah.
fuck you. I'm going to murder your ass.
Yeah.
No, you don't. So I
Don't
got
So-
worry, you'll play against my Space Wolf. It won't have any psychers.
But
It'll just
that's
be
also
straight up. Like,
that's also
play.
why he was talking about boarding actions,
Oh,
which
and
is
when
the
this
new
guy,
rule
when this thing
set.
explodes, everybody
Yep.
gets killed. I'm like, really? You just got rid of my.
That's half the
doesn't-
IG strategy, though, is get your tank close enough to get it to explode and let
Plus,
the tank
I
take
didn't,
out
I
everybody.
didn't, I
with
didn't
that
like
tank.
having to sacrifice my poor infantry guys, which that's all they're there for.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, speaking of sacrificing poor infantry guys,
So there we go.
last week when you weren't here,
Yeah.
we were talking about successor chapters.
Yeah.
And we thought it would be a good idea since now we've covered like the legions and the space marines and the legion daddies
Mhm.
and successor chapters, which is more space marines and all that kind of stuff.
We've done a lot of Space Marines.
Yeah.
That it might be good to start talking about the other big groups in both the lore and the game because they're
this
not
is what the average citizen is going to see.
right.
yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so we
They
have
could
talked
join.
about the fact that there's like Chaos, Xenos, and then the Imperium.
Mm.
The Imperium is the Imperium of man. Chaos are all the ones that fall to the warp, and then Xenos is anything that's not human. Those are all Xenos.
This could be-
It's delicious.
Fucking nailed it.
But the Imperium is not limited to. There's the schmuck that works at Starbucks and Space Marines.
Yeah.
So to give you an idea, I think it's 1 in every billion humans is a Space Marine or something like that. Like it's
Yeah.
a crazy ratio.
Yeah, you never see one like
For the most
Yeah.
part, the human race in the 40K universe will never see a Space Marine.
Yeah, and it's like in the lore, if like a normal just fucking guy sees a Space Marine, they usually just like fall to their knees, like it's like, oh my god, I can't believe I just saw.
Well, they're like a sliver of God.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it's
sliver of God.
crazy, right?
it's like
So,
it's like you winning the lotto. Like
yeah,
it's like
you never see them.
Yeah.
They're incredibly rare.
Yeah.
So
a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend
saw
cousin's
one at a
dog,
parade
sister.
once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically saw a
So,
ship.
and although they are an elite fighting force and incredibly lethal, and it makes it sound like they are everywhere, and there's all these legions, and
Yep.
they're just legion on legion, right? They are not.
Mhm.
So I think there's multiple forces and administration arms that make the Imperium run. We'll do the list real quick. So there's the Adeptus Astartes, which is the Space Marines. There is the Astra Militarum,
Mhm.
which is the Army and the Navy.
Which is the real Imperium.
That is the
fighting force.
actual Imperial fighting force.
That is like that. Those are
100%.
100%. They do the work.
There is the Officio Assassinorum, which is it's
Which are even rarer than Space Marine.
they're insanely rare.
And there's different kinds.
And
It's
there's
not
different
just the
kinds, and we'll get into that
assassins.
when we discuss the Officio.
Yeah.
But the Officio Assassinorum is literally they are the office of assassination. It's what they do. So they send like one dude out who's designed to take out one fucking dude.
I
They
lo-
weren't overly clever with these names.
I also love the fact that they made a bureaucracy like branch just for, and this is the Assassinorum office.
Wait a minute,
over
what?
here.
Yeah.
Like, yes, you have to
Um,
triplicate your request. for
There is
assassination.
the Officio Administratum,
yes.
which is literally it's
Bureaucracy.
exactly what it sounds
Sounds
like.
like-
It is all of those
Not a lot of
motherfuckers-
books on those guys.
Yeah. All the motherfuckers that we don't like in DC,
Yeah.
like the IRS and
There's just
the-
billions.
all
Take
of
that
it.
up to 1,000.
Yeah, 100%.
It's everyone works.
Now the
for
Administratum
AD.
also has like the remembrancers and all that kind of stuff that like write history and go find history and
Right.
all that kind of stuff. But it is government bureaucracy.
and everybody's employed by them.
But, right, it's government bureaucracy at a Motley Crue concert. Like it's just absolute insanity, right? And then you have the Adeptus Sororitas, which, well, I guess first I should talk about what the ecclesiarchy is. So the ecclesiarchy is the church, which isn't supposed to exist according to imperial mandate because there is no religion, but he's not talking to anybody, so they're doing it anyways.
Yep.
And the ecclesiarchy runs the official state church, which worships
The god
emperor.
Yeah.
Their fighting arm is known as the Adeptus Sororitas, which is also known as the Sisters of Battle.
Nuns with guns.
They are nuns with guns.
Yeah.
Big power armor suits.
Big power, the baby carrier. Like
Yeah.
they get some genetic enhancements.
Yeah, they do.
They get
Yeah.
all sorts of stuff.
But yeah,
Well,
they have their own power armor. They use
Yeah.
bolt weapons. They're basically they're a little similar to Space Marines in that way.
they are the worst of the worst if you looked at religious fanaticism.
Yes.
That's them.
Yeah.
Like they are absolute batshit crazy. Did I miss anybody?
Oh, well, the Inquisition.
Oh, the Inquisition. Oh, sorry.
The Inquisition.
The Inquisition, which is a literally a standalone holistic office. They answer to nobody, including kind of themselves. Like they are
Right.
they're self-regulating. So if you get too out of hand, they actually come in
Yeah, it's
themselves
not-
and get rid of you. Like they are.
It's not like an office. It's more of like a guild. It's just like a
Yeah, it's
gathering
wild.
of different people.
Yeah.
And there's 3 different branches.
Yeah,
of those
and
guys.
they trump everybody.
Yeah.
Like it's like, well, I'm a space marine. It's like that doesn't matter.
I don't get
it.
it.
Doesn't see this
Flying
eye.
dog fart.
Yeah, see this eye. It doesn't matter. The emperor and the emperor alone is above their ridicule, and that is it.
And since he hasn't said
Um,
anything for quite a while,
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
Don't know as far as major players are concerned. There's a bunch of other little shit. There's the trade guilds and shit, but
and then there's also like funny.
Oh,
things that they have.
the
the
navigators.
rogue traders,
The navigators. I mean, they're a thing.
navigating houses.
Navigation houses.
We're not going
Yeah,
to talk about them.
but-
They're the ones that can.
yeah, we'll get into that at some point.
And then there's
but
the rogue traders.
then there's the rogue traders, which are literally those are allowed to go do business on behalf of the Imperium, but there's not any more of them. There's actually all of those houses are now closed because it took a drop of the Emperor's blood to certify their charter,
Mhm.
and he's not giving those out anymore. So,
so the
it's
only-
all passed down. So if they existed, that's it. So they've all been around at least 10,000 years at
Yep.
this point.
Yep.
They do a lot of
Um,
exploration too for the
yeah,
for
out of the thing.
They do.
Yeah.
So, but what we are going to talk about today
Mm.
is the Astra Militarum.
Or the Imperial Guard, as it used to be.
IG.
The IG, well, so technically speaking, the Imperial Guard is the army.
Mhm.
The Imperial Navy
Or the ships.
are the spaceships.
the
yeah.
big old fuck off space.
And that group title is the Astra Militarum.
Yep.
And that's the only reason that we're making that distinction. You will hear us say IG a lot because I still refer to them as the IG.
yeah.
But if I say IG, I am referring to fuck tons of dudes with little las blasters and a lot of tanks and
Yeah.
shit like that. I am not talking about the Imperial Navy because
Mhm.
honestly, all of my exposure is the guard, the boots on ground guys.
Both of them
um,
are horrible entities. Also, let's just make sure that
Again, we would like to reinforce
course.
that there are no good guys in 40K.
like
It is
everything. Like you're like, oh, I could be on a spaceship. That sounds cool. Nope.
nope, it's awful.
Nope. Terrible.
Because you could like fuck around and not be a good spaceship person. And then they lobotomize you and turn you into a little floating
So-
robot that has
yeah.
to go fucking serve cake. Like it's fucking, it's
or,
awful.
You know, or your father and your father's father and your father's 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 father was a cannon guy, like which basically would just get up and be like, "Hey, we're about to shoot this huge cannon that's the size of a skyscraper. You have to grab this chain with 500 other guys. And we got to roll it into position, fellas."
Yep.
And then we just sit there.
And
And we're
that's,
just
what
like,
you, that's what you do
bang.
for your entire life every
And
12
that's what
hours.
you do.
That's your whole goddamn life.
Yeah.
So
You have no
by
idea
the way,
who you're even shooting at or
and
why.
you
Yep,
never even
just-
get to leave the cannon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like you just live inside the cannon. Like it's awful.
Yeah,
so
it's terrible.
But we should talk about the Astra Militarum, or otherwise known as the Imperial Guard. Now, they are, as you said, the fighting force for the Imperium. They do not send Space Marines to solve all the problems.
Mhm.
They almost always send
The guard.
the Guard first.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Navy, for the most part, operates as a transport service. They take the Guard, they put them on the ship, they take them to a planet, they make planetfall, and then they set up. And we're talking about campaigns that could be lifetime long. Like we're not talking
Right.
about like you're there for a year. Like
Yeah.
It could literally be.
If you
Like-
somehow survive a career, they may let you sit down on a planet somewhere and live. Maybe.
maybe.
Very few, I mean, units do, based on the size and the length and the breadth of the Imperium. You may get to retire. Maybe.
But
Maybe.
you don't. I'm like, they said, what
Um,
is the thing? Like the average Imperial Guard's lifespan? Once he hits
17
the-
seconds.
Yeah.
17 seconds.
Yeah.
Like you set down, you're dropped into a battle zone. You have 17 seconds to
Well,
make
think
it
of the
run.
things you're
Now-
fighting.
but
Most of the things you're fighting are
also-
twice your size.
So the solution to that is
More people.
more,
More.
numbers.
Yeah, more people.
just more. So you
numbers.
have deployment stories of like they sent 500 million soldiers supported by 10,000 tanks.
Yeah.
And that was a single battle deployment.
Right.
To the point there were so many people marching, it rattles the crust of the earth,
I think-
like or planet that they're on. Like it shakes
Yeah.
it. Like it's wild the numbers that they do because they know it's going to be like one weapon is going to get fired into these dudes, and we're going to lose 2,000 people,
Yeah.
3,000 people. Like
It's just it's a numbers game at that point.
yeah, so
It's
it's
straight up numbers.
they are meant to be fodder.
Yeah.
They are literally, if we send enough, we should be able to deplete the ammunition of
Like,
the enemy enough.
But they're not
and-
all
to fight.
faceless units. They've actually
No.
there are named units,
There are
and
named
that's how
units,
they
but-
make
but
the
way
books.
the way this works. If you are a member of the Imperial Guard, like let's say you are some stupid hick guy from some planet, and you're like, I'm gonna see the galaxy. I'm going out and I'm
you're definitely
seeing
not
the
coming
galaxy.
home at least. Yeah.
And I'm gonna join the Imperial Guard. They literally were like, thank you. You know, you're doing the God's work,
Yeah.
the Emperor's work. They put you in body armor. That's
Sure.
barely
We'll go with
body
that.
armor.
you better
Yeah,
hope
barely.
you better hope that you've got a good
Yeah.
your planet's
Yeah, your planet actually has like weapon, it's like rich.
You
and
could
can actually
also
build
luck
it.
out
Yeah.
and get some of the enforcer positions where it's
Right.
like the planet's in compliance, but they just need like a policing force, so they
Yeah.
drop you off there. You could luck out.
But they basically they put
planetary
you, they
defense
put
But you're
you in
not going
uniform,
to.
They put you in carapace armor, which is basically just tinfoil,
Yeah.
and then they hand you a las gun. And they say like this part goes boom. This is the good part. This is the bad part.
Yeah,
you
don't
know?
stand in front.
So don't stand in the front, and then they go like that guy, that hill. That's where you run.
Yeah.
Off you go.
Yep. So
If you're in a
Best of luck to
shitty
you.
unit. Now, if you're in
Some are different, but
Some,
that
yeah.
is the average.
Now,
guard. That is the average.
that
guard.
is the average guard. They are literally fodder. They are there to kind of slow the enemy down so that the big weapons in the back can do their work. They're
Yeah.
not really, and they're not expected to do great things. They are expected to
die in the Emperor's name.
kind of function. Like
Yeah.
that is it. Now, that being said, there are some divisions of the IG that are fucking hard like woodpecker lips. I'm going to lead this off by bringing up the Cadians
Cadians.
because G-bus. Like these guys, these
Hard
motherfuckers
as
fight
nails.
and they have like no face and they're just like, Cadia stands. It's like Cadia's in ruins and has been for
Yeah.
like
Do you want to go into
when
their
your
little
planet is
backstory a
fucking
little
like
bit?
right next to the eye of fucking
Right.
terror for
So
yeah.
go ahead, knock it out. Why do we respect Cadia?
So Cadia was the planet that was the closest to the Eye of Terror. The Eye of Terror is where all chaos incursions or battles come from into the Imperium for the longest time.
So it is the chaos player over there is very happy.
Yeah,
about it.
yeah. So that's
And
so
it is
they
a-
were the bulwark
And it is
of the Imperium.
it is a rip in reality.
Yeah.
It is
Where
a tear in
demons,
space. Yep.
Chaos Space Marines. Every horror you can imagine comes fluttering through there, and they are the first line of defense
Yeah.
against the Imperium. And they took their entire world and they turned it into a fortress. It is a fucking fortress.
It's an outpost.
It was a fortress. Like everything about their culture and everything they're out is about you will
Gear to war, yeah.
gear towards war and you will be the best
Oh
soldier
yeah.
out there.
There's no there's no like fruit market.
No.
Like there's nothing. It is a
Like, oh, you took your first steps. Johnny took his first steps. Well, here's his las gun.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like this is okay. He has
Yeah.
to learn how to shoot a las gun now.
It is strictly fighting there.
Yeah.
That is it.
And that was going great. They were the best of the best until Abaddon came along with his 13th Crusade
And broke the planet.
and
Figured
broke
out
the
figured
planet.
yeah, figured out
He
exactly.
basically
what
took a
he's-
big ass ship and said, "We're gonna run into it,"
Yep.
and broke the planet.
And broke the planet. And now
planet. Broke before the guard did.
but that's the thing is that like they didn't even all fucking die. Like there was Cadians that made it off, and
Yeah.
it was like,
Yeah.
we'll
Lots
get
of
our revenge, and it's like, what
Cadia,
the fuck,
and that's like
man?
the thing. And now is like Cadia stands, and their like thing is like
Yeah.
our planet broke before the guard did.
And
Like,
there's a lot of them.
like,
It's not
holy
like a few of
shit.
these guys.
No,
not like
it's a
fuck-
lot
There's a
of
lot of
these
Canadians
dudes.
fucking survive.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Acadians are hard,
Yeah.
and
Hard.
that's their
Hard,
big
man.
thing is that they don't break. So, and their whole thing is like, yeah, our planet's gone, but we're not. So
we're not.
that means Cadia lives, and it's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
So
Just imagine if like Earth exploded and you're all of a sudden being like, "I'll get you back, you son of a bitch!
yeah,
I'll find you in your sleep."
yeah, Cadians are wild.
Yeah.
And they're very, very popular,
Mhm.
even in the gameplay.
Yeah.
They
They're
are
great. They have a great backstory. They have great.
Yeah, and they
Yeah.
are definitely what you think of if you've ever seen an IG army or whatever, you're probably seeing Cadians. The whole green jumpsuit, the gray chest armor,
Yep.
or
Yep.
whatever.
Yep.
That's Cadia. Then you have like the Catachans.
Yeah. Which is like very similar to Big Jim.
Yes.
Big Jim's a
The
cat.
jungle fuckers.
Okay, so
with his
if
jungle
you've
green.
ever seen Predator
Yes.
or
Yeah.
Rambo or any of those 80s movies
With dudes running around the jungle.
where dudes run around the jungles, maybe have a shirt on, maybe
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
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 Or maybe it's like camo pants and a muscle shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's what you
Or
want
they,
in the jungle.
or they're dry shaving while they're waiting.
Or they're dry shaving with their pocket knife because you got to stay clean shaven in the jungle.
Yeah, for some reason.
Any of the movies where the guys really liked headbands,
Yeah.
like anything like that.
It is.
you're-
Yeah, it's 100%
You're talking about the Catachans.
Catachans. They grow up on a death world.
Which is an imperial designation for a planet that is not supposed to support human life. They are known as death world.
However, somehow people manage
But somehow we decided we want to live there.
Yeah, because humans are like that.
Yeah. So the Catachans. Catachans are also big on any weapon that you don't necessarily have to like hold properly. Like if you can shoot it from the hip,
Big fan.
or you can like hold it out at like a jaunty angle,
Yeah.
like anything like Catachan. Big fan.
Big fan of cigars.
Big fan of cigars.
Just chomping on unlit cigars.
Yeah.
Just chomp through the jungle.
Big fan of the cross. The cross
Yes,
grip
the
high
cross
five,
grip high
yeah,
five,
a lot
yeah.
of that going on.
You son, of a bitch.
Yeah,
So you can kind of tell
Catachan imports
when
a
they
lot of
came up with
baby
these
oil
guys, like
just
what they
to-
were looking
yeah.
at, like the different kind of units and like who they thought that these guys were. I mean, a lot of them are like it's completely ridiculous, but they're those guys running around the jungles because you need your Vietnam.
One of their
dudes.
named
Mhm.
dudes is literally Colonel Ripper Jackson.
Yeah.
Like that's his
Yeah.
name.
You know, one of their name dudes is literally called Sly
Marbo.
Yeah.
Sly Marbo.
Yeah.
Put it together, guys.
Yeah,
Sly
100%.
Marbo.
Have you ever read the rules on Sly Marbo? The
It's
actual
insane.
gameplay rules?
Yeah.
So
You
he
can
can
do
literally pop up anywhere on the board and fire a shot and kill something and then disappear and just move to anywhere else on the board and pop back up and kill a motherfucker.
He's
It like-
hilarious. He's the
yeah,
best.
it's like Sly Marbo.
Sly fucking Marbo.
Yeah, so that's the
Ha ha ha,
Catachans.
Games Workshop.
And then you have the Death Corps of Krieg.
Yes,
They are one of my favorites.
Yeah, they're dope.
not a lot of fun. Those guys.
Not great at parties.
No,
not
not,
great at parties.
Not using a lot of pastel colors in their decoration.
No.
Everybody's
No,
wearing a
no.
gas mask. Not
Yeah.
quite
Yeah.
sure why.
What do you know about the Death
I know
Corps
nothing
of
other than
Krieg,
what they
Jim?
look like, and
Well,
that they had fucking they come from another death world, right? Where they
No, they created their own death world.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
So Krieg was a normal planet, and then they had a huge civil war. And one side was kind of for chaos, and the other side wasn't. And the people that won were not, but they basically decided, "Fuck you all! We're nuking the entire planet, and we're living underground."
They also
Yeah,
gassed
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Oh, what?
They also gassed it.
Yeah, they gassed it. They did everything.
That's why they wear
They wiped everything
World
out, and
War
then
I era
everyone
looking-
for like 2,000, 3,000 years thought it was just a dead planet.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, a ship took off from there, and people were like, "What the fuck? It just happened from Krieg."
Yeah.
And a ship took off, and they wrote up. They said like, "We are here to make our amends for our betrayal, and we will fight for the Emperor until death." And that's what they do. Is They
Yeah.
just die for the Emperor, and everyone's just like, Are you fucking serious? You guys were just
Yeah, they get
hiding
sent
down
in
there,
sort of. Yeah.
fucking like deciding
Yeah,
to,
which is why they all have gas masks and shovels.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
So they're basically the
All of them.
German World War I army.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Again, not a lot of fun.
Yeah, not a lot of fun.
and literally all of their gameplay models are literally like the
Yeah,
pointy
face
gas masks.
face,
and-
faceless
yeah.
gas.
If
mask.
you've ever played
They never take it
Wolfenstein,
off.
Yes.
if you've ever played Wolfenstein, the dudes that aren't the genetic monsters, that's Death Korps Creek.
Yeah.
Like they're fucking
So over
wild.
3,000 years, they were like building up their army so they could go back out into the world and serve the Emperor and die. And that's what their goal is as a people,
Yeah.
is to die for the Emperor.
And they're literally known as the Death Corps. That is their
Because
official name. That is not a
They will
nickname.
they will go places that no one else wants to go.
Yeah.
And they will take it with glee in their hearts.
Yeah. And they like have let children join and shit too.
Yeah.
I think you can join the Death Corps at like 12.
Well, they don't know how old everyone is because they never take off their masks.
Yeah.
Again, not a lot of fun.
Not a lot of fun.
Yeah. Makes making new babies really weird.
So we've covered.
And there's also that.
there's-
where they don't actually make new babies, they clone babies.
Yeah.
They
Well-
clone they have
Well, they nuke their nuts.
They have filled fertility farms. They just pump out children to die.
Wow.
Well,
Yeah.
there we go.
Yeah,
Let's
so
get-
they're fun.
Yeah.
They're fun.
Super fun. But the IG has all of the super cool heavy armor toys.
Yes. they
Yeah.
do.
Big
Uh,
blade.
the Bane Blade is the big boy.
Mhm.
The most prevalent one is the Lehman
Lehman
Russ.
the M1 of.
They are, yeah, that is
They're everywhere.
Yeah, they're,
Well, probably the Sherman tank and the T-34. Actually,
they are.
You wanna
There's
look at- yeah.
there's a bajillion of them.
Yeah.
Like they make
just
those motherfuckers.
as
Yeah.
fast as humanly possible.
They crank them out like Honda Civics. It's
Yeah.
just fucking just
Not a great
boom,
tank.
boom, boom,
Much of
boom,
death
boom.
trap.
Not a
Not a
great
great tank,
tank.
but we got a fuck ton of them.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't
Coming
really
at ya.
matter. Yeah. I broke our producer.
I know. Is she okay?
You good?
She just became a thing. Was it the Honda Civic?
So
thing?
you missed. So we're talking about tanks now, and I mean,
What'd I
you get
miss?
tanks. Like the Voraustrians, they look like Russian World War One.
Yep,
Fucking,
yeah.
they wear the big.
Oh,
fucking
there's
heads.
great. And then there's Gaunt's Ghost.
Yeah, and then they're from Tanit. Yeah. See, no, I like the Ghost because Abnett uses them correctly. They're scouts, and they're deep. So he's taken slew scouts from Rhodesia, mixed them with like Vietnamese LERP unit guys, and then snipers, and that's what they do. They're long range guys that can go and do all kinds of different shit.
Yeah, and as far as the IG is concerned, there's some other stuff we need to touch on, and then we can talk about some of the name guys. So like
Commissars.
a commissar and what his actual job is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So you have commissars who they're in charge.
Yeah.
By the way, the IG, we're gonna say a lot of things that are probably gonna be like, that sounds really German. It is very German.
It's the Germans.
They very much built that army design to be very German. Like it's
Or Russian. Yeah.
or Russian. It's kind of
Yeah.
all in the, it's
Yeah,
kind of that whole
it's-
mix of like
Yeah.
Of shitty time period army.
yeah, you
Yeah.
are a tool. You are not a
You're not a
patriot. You're not a
person.
whatever.
Yeah.
You are just here to be whatever. So, the IG has to fight a lot of shit that is really scary.
Yeah.
And you are a dude. And I don't give a fuck how big a dude you fucking think you are. The shit you're fighting is way bigger than you.
Yeah, if you're gonna be
Well,
okay
so
with just like a
Tyranids,
demon
yeah.
with a demon with its face melting off, talking in
demons-
your mom's voice,
Yeah.
and you're not
That's
gonna run
almost
away.
the least of your fucking problems
Yeah.
to be fucking perfectly.
Tyranids are like, hey, I
Tyranids-
brought 4 hands, but they're actually swords. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh,
Yeah.
great. This is
It's
Yeah,
fucking
and
fucking
you're skimming
fantastic.
along the ground.
Yeah.
Some of them fly, and
Some
do
of them
this,
fly, and some of them don't. Some of them burrow. Then you have orcs, and it's like, I beheaded that one. It's like, really? Because he just put his head back on. Like, if you could.
Yeah, he's okay.
Yeah, I cut that one's arm off. Yeah, but he pulled the arm off that one and stuck it on him, and now,
And now
he's
he's-
good.
he's
And
good.
it's like, what the?
He's
Yeah.
GGG.
And all I
So-
got is this bullshit laser rifle.
Yeah. Then you get this thing that's affectionately referred to as the flashlight.
Yeah.
Because
That's what it is.
so, the IG are not known for their bravery.
Some units. Yeah.
The Cadians,
Cadians, yeah,
yes.
sure.
The Krieg, sure.
But you might get
But
rounded
for
up.
the
Yeah.
99.9% of the guard,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a lot of draft and a lot of
Yeah,
conscription work and
conscription.
all that kind of
Also-
stuff.
and also-
They don't want to be there.
Yeah.
It's so
That brings up the other point: is how the guard gets built. Is each planet has a certain
Tax.
Tax.
it's a tax.
of like
Yeah.
people. You have to.
It's a people tax.
You'd be like, yeah, you need to have every year. You need to put out 2 million guards. Remember, every year. If you don't, we come and we figure out why you don't.
Yeah.
And that's
and it
not
better,
a good part.
And it better be that we heard you ran out of fucking people. Like, cause
there better be nobody on this fucking planet when I show up.
It'd be like, all right, they paid their taxes. Like,
that's it.
But that being said, you see some scary shit, so you like to run away. And there's these things called commissars. And one of their number one jobs is that one of you tries to run away. So he puts a bullet in
rifle.
you.
The second man takes the bullet.
Yeah. And he puts a bullet in
that's
you.
a great line.
Because it essentially turns into like, you can go fight them and you might live. Or you can try and run away and you'll definitely die. And it's like,
this
that's what your job is. You're not morale based. I thought morale was more pizza party based.
No, granted, they do try to do some I guess uplifting speeches to get the guys to run in the right fucking direction and take the right
and
fucking
a lot
help.
of it's like,
but generally speaking, if you turn the fuck around and take 2 steps back, you're getting smoked.
Yeah.
Which is apparently what the Russians are doing in the Ukraine right now. They've got
and the commissars get these really cool hats with short brims.
They're fucking
and
very-
You with the hats.
And
you with the fucking hats.
and like long leather coats
Storm
with
coats.
a lot
like
of skulls on it.
With a lot of skulls on it.
So their purpose, if you see one, you're like, oh, that guy's.
If you've seen Robert Duvall and Eye of the Needle, I'm going back but see, we trying to teach you people here. Look at his outfit in that movie. That's exactly where they got him.
I was going to go more Inglourious Bastards with
way better because Duvall's got an eye patch and the storm coat and the peaked hat.
Now,
completely
one of my favorite characters of all time.
Yeah.
In the 40K universe as a whole comes from IG.
Yeah.
And it is Old Baelai.
Yes.
Because you want to talk about a dude
woodpecker lips, right?
that could eat dental floss and shit Constantina wire. It's Old Baelai. That dude is a hard sumbitch.
Commissar Yarek.
Yeah. I love that man.
Yeah.
This is a dude that got in a one-on-one fight with a bunch of orcs to the point that he lost his arm.
Yeah.
Due to a power claw. So he cut off that orc's power claw arm.
And took his power claw.
And proceeded to kill other ones with it. This is a human that did such a badass job of killing sons of bitches, of killing orcs, that the most powerful orc ever captured him, only to find out how badass he was, and then brought him out and was like,
no, you should go back.
No good orc. An orc at my level needs an enemy that is worthy of him, and you were the only one that is worthy of fighting me, and gave him a ship and let him go.
Yeah.
Just so this orc had somebody to fight.
Yeah. Just like, all right, cool. I need an antagonist.
Now that was after they actually put the power claw on him.
Yeah.
They surgically attached
the power claw.
An orc power claw.
I'm like, he also had like Old Baelai has like stories he's like the boogeyman of the orcs.
Yeah.
Like they have like stories about him like having his eye can shoot lasers out of it, and he heard about it because he has one eye. And so he actually had an eye inserted that could shoot lasers.
He had an implant done.
He was like, oh, I'm gonna play with that. I'm gonna go with that. And it's like fantastic. Good for you, bro.
They
way to do it. I like though Commissar Kane. I'm a big fan of Commissar
only
Kane.
because the books are kind of done tongue in cheek.
Oh, they're so tongue in cheek. They're great. I love them.
That's why I like.
I love them so much.
Ibram Gaunt's the best because that guy.
Oh,
honestly,
Gaunt is great. Gaunt is also a commissar.
Obviously, he's not going around fucking killing his own people.
Right.
Granted,
he's a good guy.
everybody that they've got rolling around is on the same sheet of music, but he is one of the few, if only, commissars that also commands the unit.
Yes, he is the only one that is in lore right now. He's a Colonel Commissar.
So he's a tactical commander as well as a commissar. Well, and then now he's fucking Lord Military Commander.
Yeah, but also commissars are outside of the chain of command.
Right, yeah.
So they're basically, a commissar gets assigned to a platoon or company or whatever it is.
Because like some of the younger guys, it's usually like it could be a company,
or something like that. And he doesn't do any tactical stuff. He doesn't do anything else. He basically stands behind you and being like, I think you should really go forward faster because my finger is very itchy.
Yeah.
And if you don't go faster, you know.
And Gaunt's made sure that like the other guys that are the other commissars, because they actually have now, he's got a commissar in there and another colonel that is not a dick either.
Yeah.
Like he's made sure that you're not getting the friggin' homicidal guys who just want to fucking kill people.
Yeah.
But
and I don't want to make it sound like every leader in the IG is there just to kill people. Some of them are actually like
trying the best they
have
can.
these units that they've taken to a level that are so good that they get sent in to solve problems, and they're like, we don't know how you do it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, you have
And
these
depending
guys.
on
You have
if you
guys.
want to read like whether you want to, there's good tank books. Abnett's done great books that are very British, Battle of Britain-ish, air combat books. He's done, and
Yeah,
you feel
that was
like you're
fun.
there, like it's World War II-ish. A lot of his stuff with Gaunt's Ghost is either World War I or World War II, like how he does stuff. So
My favorite scene in any of his books was when they get back from the Chaos World, and they're like,
Yeah.
all of them are in like the prison, and they're just staring at people, like all like 1,000-yard stare. They turn their back, and all of a sudden they're just gone. They're just like, how did they break out? Where'd the fuck they go? guys, they're gone. They're gone. And then they just they're like, we had to make sure you guys are who you say you were, so we did some recon, and then went back to our cell. Just like, fuck you. Okay.
They're that book and that sort of 2 or 3 arc is some of the best stuff because the light infantry and some of the things that he has them doing and stuff like that. Plus, you get a good mix of what a chaos world really is and how fucking miserable people are. Like people are functioning on that world.
Mhm.
I mean, they're fucked up and they're tainted, but
It has a society.
yeah, and then nobody then trusts Gaunt's Ghost for forever. He gets they start getting shitty assignments because they're like, well, these guys are all fucked up. So, and again, does a fucking great job.
I always wanted to because I am not military. You two are military. You know, we're part of the military. Used to be a part of the military. Like, it's like the stuff when you read the IG stuff. Does it like hold up? Does it hold water?
Whoever he is talking to,
Especially now, his last book,
Abnett. I take this back.
Yeah, Abnett does.
Whoever Abnett is talking to, to figure out not just how to move and all that kind of, and the description of how things are done, but how the soldiers speak to each other.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Those interactions, you can tell they're close because they give each other a hard time. Like there's little things you pick up in the way he writes where you're like, this is exactly how it is. Like this is what
absolutely.
that behavior's like.
He's done such a good job, and you can tell historically every story he takes different genres and eras of soldiers and then mixes that stuff around, and then the language and the interactions, like he just said, are also punched up. So he's got friends who've served, or he's got a cadre of folks that he can go to. What do you think about this and that? Okay, he
would never say this. It'd be more like this.
I think now he knows, but his last book was right out of the friggin' Coin Academy in Baghdad. Like the stuff that they were trying to do in the human training teams and everything. Like literally has a character who's pitching how the insurgency is going to work and how we need to kind of talk to the farmers because we're breeding. The more we start hammering these farmers that live on this planet, the more that they're going to start supporting the insurgency. And there's nothing we're going to be able to do because what are we going to do? Kill all these farmers? And they're buying into it. Like it's counterinsurgency stuff. Absolutely. That I'm sure that the British used. And then he's got guys. He's absolutely got guys.
Let me go the opposite direction. Which ones have you read or heard of lore that is like, this is complete bullshit? Like, this is just not even fucking close.
I don't know. They do kind of, it's a tight ship over there, man.
Really?
So early Horus Heresy books, before they kind of gave Abnett creative control over the whole thing, some of those,
like the tactics,
some of those interactions and stuff like that.
It's
just like
because they can just take a punishment. Like they don't need to take cover. They don't need.
The biggest problem with Space Marines and the way they're written is they always write them like.
Well,
you ever seen the movie Gladiator?
Yeah, of course.
And everybody's speaking to each other like everybody's also this like
everything's
poet.
a speech.
Yeah. And it's just like,
what,
bro? They were just like.
They were just a fucking guy.
And they're getting away from that now.
But it's getting more and more real.
Yeah, it's definitely gotten a lot real because Abnett always did that. But he's added also a lot more sort of comedic things between the Space Marines and the other guys are starting to pick up on that stuff. But before, you're getting these everybody's giving a speech. Like, why is he giving a speech?
Stand up.
Yes.
He let them
shall do this.
Yes.
I pledge my honor.
So, exactly. And it's like, dude, come on.
And he was like, you bring dishonor upon my chapter, sir. And it's like, nobody fucking says that,
this,
man. And the thing is then you have some of the human interactions, even with Remembrancers or IG or just like Astra Militarum for part of the Navy and stuff like that. And they're just like, shit. And they're human It's like, well, the Space Marines were human,
Yeah.
and then they get turned into superhumans, but they're still like, it's still the same language. It's still all of that kind of stuff.
Got you.
Some of their desires get toned down, but their emotions and stuff are still there too.
Yeah.
And the only people that they can connect with are these other superhumans because nobody else is going to understand, right? But that's going to build a camaraderie. And in the early books with Space Marines, they wrote them all like they were these Roman orators that were just out there. And it was like, what we do with life echoes in eternity. And it was like, that is
Literally
not
forever. Like, I'm going to the shitter. I'll be back. Like, and you had to give a speech.
Yeah.
Like,
Just
for
like,
the
"I
Emperor,
shall
it's going to
drop
be
the
wonderful. Like,
deuce
dude, no.
of the
Jesus.
Emperor.
Yeah. And it was wild. And it was like, I get it. It's the Emperor's deuce, but I need you to fucking like you can just be
Tone
like
it down.
Yeah.
They've finally gotten to that point now.
Yeah.
And it sucks because there was some great stories there, but it was kind of to an extent ruined. And I just got like exhausted by that
Yeah,
shit.
I
And
imagine.
it can be very exhausting when everybody's giving a damn speech just to do whatever. So yeah.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
So what other IG stuff are we talking about here?
Let's see.
Well, then there's like the Navy, which is just
So there is the astra militarum,
the Navy.
the Navy, which is for the most part a transport service.
Service, yeah.
They do some ship to ship stuff. They deal with some Xeno stuff.
Yeah.
It does seem in the lore because there's nothing that you can even compare them to in play wise because there was a thing called Battlefleet Gothic. That game is now gone.
Did they stop that one?
It's been gone for years.
No, it's too bad. But yeah, these ginormous ships that are sizes
they're
of
they're
cities.
huge.
Yeah, they're
huge.
absolutely massive. And they're mostly transports, but they do offer kind of overwatch for those on the ground. So like they'll do these things that are called orbital bombardments, and it's the same thing that we would do in modern warfare, where we would have either the Navy fire the big guns, past horizon and soften up a target, or the Air Force would come over and drop, and soften up a target before we would send in the ground troops. That warfare is still used in this, except for it's done from space, and then we drop people in.
Yeah.
But mostly they're a giant taxi service. And in the stories, it almost seems like they only exist for some Space Marine to come along and go like, your ship's mine now. And they just like, they take their boat and go do something else with it.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
And it's just like, man, you guys kind of get
you
fucked.
You guys get pushed around a
like-
little bit, guys. Like,
Yeah,
just,
but the ships are so big, and we kind of touched on it. Like, you end up living your whole life on these things.
yeah.
So
in like one part of it, not even like you don't
even see the rest.
Yeah,
you don't
so,
get to go up to like the top decks, or you don't get to see where the officers. Like, there's none of that. You just fucking suck down here.
And a lot of it is because we're dealing with a galaxy-sized structure, right? So when you're talking about like how long is it going to take to get there, and it's like, well, we're going to translate, which is the term that they use.
Yeah.
We're going to translate to the warp, and it's a 13-month warp translation for us to get to this dock. And once we get there, we'll take on more supplies, we'll refuel, we'll get things refit, because even with the Geller fields, and the Geller field is think of it as an anti-chaos bubble that you can put so that you can survive traveling through the warp. That gets torn up, so they have to get refit, so maybe you're there for a little bit, then you get back on, and then it's a 17-month translation to here, and da-da-da-da. I mean, you have people in modern times that in the time it would take one of these boats to get from where you got on it to even where you're going to support, there are times in current warfare that could have been somebody's entire term of service, and all you did was go on a ride.
Yeah.
So you can't have a structure where it's like, well, I served 6 years, and it's like, yep, nope, that's not how this fucking works.
Nope,
Like,
it's generational.
if you put the uniform on, you're never going to leave this ship. And there are stories about those that like they came on and they were just like a low nothing, and they get promoted and promoted and promoted and promoted and promoted and promoted, and they started on that ship, and now they're the captain of that ship.
Yeah.
But they never left.
Yeah.
Like they just worked their way up. It was like a McDonald's.
Yeah, and then the most fascinating thing I always hear about whenever I read because I always find the Navy extremely fascinating, is that you're in this ginormous ship that is like 5 to 6 to 7 kilometers long. Like,
Yeah,
this thing's
these are not
ginormous.
This is not like a
Yeah, that is, but it's also 5,000 years old.
Yeah.
The ship is incredibly ancient.
Well, and that would be young.
Yeah, that would be young.
Because most of the big fleet ships are still left over from the Horus Heresy.
And everything is just in a slight bit of decay.
Yeah.
Everything's breaking down. Like, for example, there used to be a big mechanical arm that would put the cannon into place. That broke 5,000 years ago.
Yeah, so now
we do it by manpower.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Now
just like that kind of thing. And
push
I just think
it into place.
I just think it's so fascinating, like, just to think of it
and
that
it's
way.
kind of cool.
And there's parts of the ship where they just don't know about anymore. Like, there was like...
Yeah, we don't know how to fix this. We don't even know what it did.
We don't even know what it is. Like, yeah, there's a whole, like, this deck we don't
there's
go
people
to.
that are on those ships that there's organized crime and that they have nothing to do with the day-to-day running of the ship. They've just been there for so long that they're just like other people. Like there's cities and towns in these fucking massive ships.
And then when you see the art of them and the outside of them look like Notre Dame, and it's like, what the fuck is that? And it's like, that's a spaceship. That like, it's a spaceship that's the size of Manhattan.
Yeah,
but it's a spaceship, and the whole front of it just looks like a Gothic cathedral, and that's the window that the captain looks out of, and it's like, what the.
Yeah.
What is this? Yeah, this is crazy.
Yeah. So, and you're talking entire hospitals, entire small cities and support structures and markets, and like it's a floating city.
And I always just found that just fascinating kind of stuff. And I always loved it when you read stories and they really kind of gets into the subculture inside those ships. I found it just amazing. You know, a great one is the Night Lord trilogy.
Yeah.
You know, they really get into like what it's like to be on this ship that is run by these Chaos Space Marines. And
I want to stay the fuck out of their way.
Yeah, you just stay out of the fuck out of their way, and you like try to live as best you can.
Yeah,
you know, and
and that kind of sums up the entire 40K universe. Is it's just like
stay out of
keep your fucking head down. Try to live the best you can.
Yeah, keep your fucking head down and try to live as long as you can.
Yeah,
yeah,
and be thankful if you make it to tomorrow, because that's
that
means you're doing well.
Yeah.
So
you did something right if you wake up if you're breathing the next morning, like you made a good decision.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna lie, like, I mean the Astra Militarum is and not a lot. Honestly, a lot of their recruiting efforts are exactly the same that they're used now. And it's like, oh, does your life suck? Would you like food?
We'll give you food.
We got food. We'll even give you some clothes. It's like,
you want a shower? I can give you a shower.
Yeah, I can give you a shower.
I can give you a shower all day long.
And it's like, yeah, I'll join. It's like, cool, here's a jumpsuit and some corpse starch. Like, dude, fucking welcome to the military.
Yeah, welcome to the military. You have to be at the, and they don't even like, it's not even like someone like, oh, I'm going to go sell home and say goodbye to the family. Like, no, you start right now.
Yeah, right now. Here's your jumpsuit.
Right now,
get on the boat.
Jumpsuit, you
go to never going to see home again.
And you're gone. Yeah,
you're not leaving this office.
Yeah.
The dock is literally out that back door. We're just going to on the boat. Like, you're fucking gone. You're gone now. And you're never coming home. There is no story in the 40K universe of like, we tie a yellow ribbon. That's not gonna fucking happen.
Yeah,
there's no yellow ribbons. They know they're never seeing your ass again.
If you join the military, you are gone. You were like, it's like the the Irish used to have like an Irish wake where if you like went to America from Ireland, you had a wake in Ireland, and they just never. It was like you're dying
because you're never gonna be seen again.
Yeah,
you're never coming back.
Yeah, that's the Astra Militarum.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how high speed you are. You could Yarick it up, and you could go and you could be one of the hardest motherfuckers that's ever served in the Astra Militarum.
Not going home.
And literally get your own planet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, then you might get a planet, but you never find your way back. Yeah, it just doesn't work that way.
And something you got to wrap your head around when we're talking about this lore and stuff like that. I was like, oh my God, my family or whatever. Like, you didn't understand. They probably didn't know most of their family. There's a likelihood that you didn't grow up with parents and shit. Like, you're just another human.
Yeah,
like it's
you're just you got separated. You got separated from your mom and dad in a ginormous mob while you were trying to go to the to get paperwork done, and you fucking never saw them again.
Yep,
you're
and
just
that was
gone.
it. And they were kind of happy because
there was no way for you to find them. There's no like, oh, I used to, it's the Joneses. Nobody goes like, I don't give a fuck.
Dude, and straight up, if you got into the Astra Militarum because you came off a hive planet, you upgraded.
Yeah.
That was like, woo.
Yeah.
At least they're gonna give me a weapon to fight with. Like, because hive planets is just because hive planet is that's just San Quentin planet wide. Like it's just
every day you fight for survival.
Just bad news bears, just all day long.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, fucking.
It's a bleak
world. It's a bleak world.
But
also makes our world seem a little bit better too.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Sure.
Sure, why not? Right?
What else you got for us, Jazz?
I got fuck all, man. I don't.
I think we've been an
Yeah.
hour.
Yeah, we're and I'm sure everybody's sick of hearing us fucking
Yeah,
our
ranting
name
and
prattle
raving.
about this shit.
yeah, it's just doing our soliloquies.
So the only thing I'm going to tell you to do is fucking games, drinks, and hijinks. Gets worked
Yeah.
around here.
Yeah.
Fucking go roll some dice, drink some beer, have a good fucking time.
Yeah.
yeah, make a friend.
And keep leaving the questions and comments and stuff
Yeah,
like
we
that.
love reading them.
Yeah.
I did see your comment that the only concern you have about the show is that he seems thirsty, and you wanted to figure out where you could mail bourbon so that Big Jim had something to drink. We had somebody leave that comment.
Well, if you're from Kentucky,
We have a couple
really
English
appreciate-
listeners. I was looking at the demographics.
And some
they're
Kentucky
probably
listeners.
laughing our asses off at us as we
Yeah,
freaking muddle
hopefully.
through this fucking
100%. But if you want to figure out where you could send booze,
which we will drink on
Yeah,
I'll drink it on the show. I have no
Yeah.
problem with that.
I have no problem.
Send it to the store.
Yeah.
Look up BattlePub Games, battlepub.com. You can send it to the store. And we'll sort it out from there. Other than that, Second Pitch Beer Company.
Yeah, if you want to send some beer from your hometown too, I will take that.
If you're a
Oh,
bourbon
if you have
distillery,
local beer,
Yeah.
Ooh,
that'd be dope.
I would.
or if you were a
fucking take
bourbon distiller listening to this,
and you wanna get some
it. You want to get some.
want
You want to get
us
some
to talk you
mediocre
up?
publicity.
yeah.
Hey.
Send swag.
but we'd love to talk to you.
Yeah, that'd be
So
And eventually we'll have guests on the show.
we have a guest confirmed, going to happen in the summer.
Who's that?
Chapter Master Valrak will be on the show.
Who the fuck is that?
So Chapter Master Valrak, some of the listeners are going to be like, no shit. Chapter Master Valrak is actually this huge YouTube personality for 40K.
Oh god.
He's at no. He's
So is he gonna tell you? He gonna motherfuck us and be like, "You guys don't know."
Oh yeah, no, because
Oh,
he's
no.
like, especially on Imperial Fists, he is like the Imperial Fist player.
Oh, cool.
but he does a lot of like rumor stuff and like you know, what's
that'll
going
be
on.
cool.
So stuff like that. But he is going to hold what he is calling the Valamo in my store. So he's flying in from England
Oh my
to hold his first ever American
Oh, wow.
fan fest
Oh, cool.
in the store.
Does this guy
August
dress up?
12th and 13th, 2023. So if you're finding this like 2 years from now, because for some reason we're still making this goddamn show,
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
it's over. But
you missed it.
Yeah.
if you find this before this, August 12th and 13th, it is going to be
So, like, hope we're not like in a mushroom cloud over.
yeah,
Oh Jesus.
I just want to hope we're just moved on.
Oh no, it's over. It's over.
it's
over.
over.
It's over.
It's-
Over. Our
it's
robot
just-
overlords
it's
have
all done.
found this podcast.
Oh,
and it's just like, what
Jesus.
the
If you leave this podcast, I'm causing the mushroom cloud.
Oh my god.
Yeah, what happened last? What happened
I'm
last?
very concerned with this whole shit in Ukraine, man.
You'll listen to the last podcast and be like, Jesus, these fucking guys, need
Yeah, it
some
was
help.
great. It was a great episode.
Great. We have a Twilight chapter now.
See what happens when you
Not
leave this
even joking.
unsupervised?
Vampire, like glowing.
Vampire.
dudes.
It's
Vampire
Blood
werewolf.
Angels and Space Wolves. Did a
Heyo.
joint crusade chapter.
Oh my god.
Jacobius and Eduardus.
A lot of fur and like leather. Oh
Yeah,
my
Yeah.
God.
that's gonna be
Yeah.
great. It's so awesome.
Oh my god! Why would you fucking do that?
It's gonna be amazing.
It's gonna. Their
But
mouth.
no, the Valamo, the tickets are gonna go on sale on the website pretty soon. But it's gonna be weird. It's just
That's awesome.
yeah,
it's gonna be a lot of
It's gonna be
fun.
a good time.
There's gonna be like a narrative play, an apocalypse
Narrative play, apocalypse play. The Brits have requested that we bring out a barbecue truck.
We can
Oh,
absolutely.
we can.
fucking
So we
do
can
that.
make that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Brits have been told that we were friends with a brewery, so the brewery is expected to be there because
What brewery?
I don't know. I know somebody.
Okay.
It's got one.
Cool.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have a
They're
distillery
good.
back then. They drink whiskey.
So yeah, it's gonna be cool. But
Fantastic. Love it.
That's awesome.
so BattlePub, shameless plug. That's my place.
Second pitch. That's my place.
Yeah. Go find all the social medias on all the stuff and leave reviews
Yep.
and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Drink beer.
Because it's good for it. Jim is super secret squirrel, so we're not allowed to tell you anything about him.
He does. Yeah. We don't know what Jim does.
I don't even know Jim's last name. He's just Jim.
Yeah.
They ask me what I do, and I can't even tell you. But it's not because it's secret squirrel. It's because I really don't do anything. But I do work for the federal government, and your tax dollars pay my salary.
Yeah, see? Super secret.
Yeah.
Some English asshole's like, not mine.
Oh, no, you're already getting fucking raped. So don't worry about that, buddy.
So yeah, other than that,
Yeah.
go
have
tell
fun.
people about the show
Yeah.
and leave questions and comments underneath, and we'll answer them at the end of the
In
show.
fact,
And you know, when
if
we're
you
super good at editing
we'll
stuff.
do a whole show on your questions. As long as they're short questions.
I'd love to do an AMA. Isn't
my
that what they're called?
God,
An Ask Me
yes.
Anything?
Yeah, we
Oh,
could do it
God.
on
As we get a
Reddit.
little bit more of a following, we'll have to get some people on the social media. We could go live and
would
start
love
answering.
Oh my
questions.
God,
love
we're really
that.
opening ourselves up to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, we're way off from being able
Yeah.
to do that. Yeah,
No.
that's
No,
that's
it's
down the
not
line.
gonna.
But we'll get there.
Yeah, once the chapter master comes through, maybe we'll be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've actually got dice roll and a beer to drink, so I'm gonna fucking
Yeah,
sign
let's
us
fucking
off.
do
All
this.
right.
So go do your thing, Jim.
As we all know,
Don't do it. Don't.
Don't disappoint me.
The man was right. He was so fucking right.
Ah, God. Sign us off. Fade to black. Push the button.
Painted black.
He looks like a bitch.
He looks like a bitch.